beautiful professional bows, floral bows, treetop bows, wreath bows, nested bows, swag bows, double ribbon bows, bows that you would expect to pay a lot for in stores. Bows you can make simply and inexpensively at home with your new patented Easy Bow Maker. In a moment, we'll meet Leah Cavender, who co-invented the Easy Bow Maker with Lucy Slater. But first, let's assemble your bow maker and get ready to start making your own bows and decorating for the holidays. Assembly is quite simple. Just place the two dowels in the center holes of the base and tap them in lightly with a hammer. The dowels are purposely precision made for a tight fit and are not meant to be removed after this initial installation. Now, let's meet Leah.
By using your Easy Bow Maker, you'll be able to make beautiful designer bows instantly. We've taught thousands of people to make perfect bows, and I know you're going to find this very exciting when you start decorating your home this holiday. Today, we're going to learn to make several different bows, including a wreath bow, treetop bow, swag bow, floral bow, bow garland, nested bow, double ribbon bow, and a scrap bow. I'm going to show you how to make the wreath bow first. The wreath bow uses 4 yards of ribbon, and the instructions for this are fully illustrated and in the package with your bow maker. We'll start by putting wire between the dowels, about the length of the bow maker, about 16 inches. We always start with our ribbon face up, and we start with our streamer. I'm going to measure this about 10 inches and just give it a half a twist. Put it between the dowel and measure to 5 inches. Fold the ribbon over back to the bottom of the dowels and a half twist. Then put it between the dowels. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. So we're going to go to 5 inches on this side again and twist. For the wreath bow, we're going to make 3 loops 5 inches long and 2 loops 4 inches long. Every bow that you're going to learn today is made with this simple fold and twist method. If you can simply fold and twist any of the ribbons, you can make 9 different bows, plus all the extra bows you'll see on your instructions that come with your Easy Bow Maker. Okay, now we're making our 4-inch loops, 2 of those, and I'm going to teach you a little trick how to make that center loop. And you can see this is beautiful wired ribbon. The bow maker will work with any kind of ribbon. Acetate, moire, the heavy velvet that's so hard to work with because it's so hard to hold. As you can see here, there is a lot of ribbon stacked up here. Even if you do know how to make bows, you know how uncomfortable it is to try to hold ribbon like this in your hands. Here, the bow maker holds it for you, leaving you free to be creative. Now, I'm going to show you, if you can see here, how to do a little trick to make that center loop. We're going to measure to about 1.5 to 2 inches and put the loop only on one side because this is your center loop. Okay, can you see that? Now, I'm going to pull 1 wire forward and 1 wire back. We're going to crisscross that between the dowels and then cinch it down. Okay, that has gathered our ribbon so that we can remove the bow and not lose the loops. Okay, now I'm going to lift the bow off, turn it upside down, and pull the wire to the back. And I want you to watch this. See how high it's stacked? As I give it a tug, as I give the wire a tug, it will cinch in the ribbon and make it very, very tight. The secret to making beautiful bows is to wire them tightly and to use your easy bow maker, of course. Okay, now we're going to turn the bow upright, and you can see how it's stacked. To fluff your loops, there's a trick here. What you do is put your hand inside the ribbon and fluff from your largest loops to your smallest loops. Okay? We're going to fan the 3 larger loops out on the bottom. You see that? Okay, now we're going to lay the 2 smaller loops in between on top of those. Fluff the center knot. And if you'll do one side at a time, it'll be easier. Just do one side at a time. Okay? There's our 3 big loops. And now there's the 2 small ones laying on top of them and the center loop. Okay? Then all we need to do to complete the bow is to trim the tail. And you can cut a little dovetail notch like this by folding the ribbon in half and making a V, or you can cut it on a 45-degree angle, whatever your preference. But that is a beautiful, beautiful designer bow that would cost you quite a bit of money if you had this done at a florist. This is excellent bow to use on your mantle decorations, one on each end, possibly one in the center. This is good for wreaths. You may use this as the center of a swag. There's a lot of different uses for this particular bow. Next, we're going to make a treetop bow. Treetop bows are very, very popular to put on top of the trees in place of where an angel or something or a star might have been. And what I'm going to do is start with the tail. You always start with the tail or streamer. I'm going to measure it to about 10 inches. Now this ribbon is double-sided, so it's the same on both sides. I'm still going to do the fold and twist because your ribbon may not be double-sided. Okay, we lay the ribbon in face up, put the wire in first, of course, twist, put it between the dowels. This is done exactly like the bow we did before, except we're going to make 6-inch loops. I'm measuring to 6 inches between the dowels. Whenever you want to make a round bow, you make all of the loops the same length, unlike the wreath bow that we just did where we went from 5 to 4 inches. This particular bow can be made with anywhere from 8 to 12 yards of ribbon, depending on the size of your tree. This one will be done with approximately 10 yards and will have all 6-inch loops. We want about 12 loops on each side, and will not have a center loop on this bow because, again, we want it to be round. Okay? I'm going to pull 1 wire forward and 1 wire back, lift it up, crisscross it between the dowels, and cinch. Okay? Now we'll lift off the bow, turn it upside down, and pull the wires to the back so we can tighten. Pull to tighten, twist the wires so they won't come undone. Then all we have to do is fluff out the loops. And it's that simple. This is a bow you would pay a fortune for if you were to have it made. And you can do it yourself in just a couple of minutes. Remember to put your hands into the ribbon as you fluff it. Don't pull on it like this and crease it. Put your hands into the ribbon. And the loop should move independently if you've wired your bow tightly. If as you're pulling your loops you feel that the bow has not been wired tightly and needs to be tightened, you can turn your bow back upside down like this and just give the wire a few turns, right like that. And that will tighten it very, very securely. And there is a gorgeous, gorgeous treetop bow. This is a beautiful bow that can be used over a doorway. We call it a swag bow. It can be used on a fireplace, whatever. To make this bow, measure your streamer as long as you like. That's a personal preference. I'm going to make it long because I'm using very wide ribbon. Twist, put it between the dowels. Now this can be made with 1.5 to 4-inch wide ribbon. I'm measuring to 7 inches and twist. 7 and twist. Now 2 loops at 6 inches. And now 3 loops at 5 inches. Since I'm using the wide ribbon, I'm just going to do 2 4-inch loops and a center loop. If I was using a narrow ribbon, I would do 4 4-inch loops, 2 on each side. Now for the center loop, about 2 to 3 inches. Pull your wire up, crisscross, and cinch. Lift it off, turn it upside down, and pull. There you have a beautiful, beautiful oblong bow. Trim the tails to equal length. On these, I'm using a dovetail notch. And attach this to greenery, garland, swag. Now I want to show you a basic bow. This is the floral bow. And this is what you would most commonly use on packages. I'm going to make a small floral bow like you might use on a package or individually on your tree. But I'm going to show you a special use for a floral bow, and that is bow garland. We're going to measure to 4 inches. I'm doing 3 loops at 4 inches on each side of the dowels. Simple, small floral bow. If you're doing a very large package, you can make more loops, and generally you graduate them. This I'm doing 3 at 4, and now 2 at 3 inches. And a center loop at about 1.5 to 2 inches. Crisscross the wire between the dowels, cinch, turn it upside down. Fluff, remember to put your hands into the ribbon so you don't crease it, so it has a nice round edge to it. Okay, there's your floral bow. To make something very different, every 24 inches we have made a floral bow and created a beautiful bow garland that would be excellent on a mantle or on your tree. You just wire the bow to your branches and drape the garland in between. Isn't that a great idea? Another excellent idea to make a beautiful designer bow is to use your wreath bow or a larger floral bow with, say, 2 5/8 inch or number 40 ribbon. You can eliminate the center loop if you like, because it's really not necessary. The reason is we're going to make a nested bow. This is the original wreath bow that I showed you first. And here is the floral bow that we just did. I'm simply going to wire the floral bow onto the wreath bow to make a beautiful nested bow. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a beautiful, elegant bow that you might think was difficult to make, but it's very, very simple. It's made exactly like the other bows. It's a double ribbon bow. All you do is lay your ribbon in face up and lay another ribbon the same or smaller width on top of it. Twist the two ribbons at the same time at the bottom of the dowels and insert between the dowels. Going to measure to 5 inches and twist. For this double ribbon bow, I followed the instructions for the treetop bow, and I'm making a double ribbon treetop bow. Crisscross your wire between the dowels and cinch. Lift off the bow, turn it upside down, pull the wire tightly, and twist it to secure. The only difference here is you fluff your bow just like you did in all of the previous bows, except after we fluff the bow and place the loops, we will pull the two loops apart to show both ribbons. This can also be done with a wreath bow or a swag bow. When following your instructions, you can use less ribbon because you will be pulling these apart. Now, simply pull the loops apart. One in one direction, one in the other. This is a great way to utilize all that beautiful ribbon where you don't have enough yardage to make an entire bow with just one ribbon. You can make a beautiful designer bow that people will love if you just utilize your scrap ribbon. I'm going to make a larger bow and layer smaller bows on top of it. I'm going to start, as always, with the streamer face up and measure to 6 inches. And I'm just going to make 3 6-inch loops on each side with no center loop. I'm just using leftover ribbon. This could go on a wreath, a swag, anywhere in your home that you just like to add some extra color. Okay, trim your tail to match the other one. And take another ribbon. I'll use gold, just using some of the ribbons that we used here today. And I'm going to make 3 smaller loops. These loops are about 4 inches long. 4 to 5 inches will be fine. This is really something you can play with. I want you to play with your bow maker and invent lots of pretty bows utilizing materials that you have on hand. You'll see how easy it is. Okay, I made 3 loops there on each side, trimming the streamer again, and I'll just layer another ribbon. It's a Victorian wired ribbon, and this time I'm just going to do 2 loops because I'll pretend I don't have much of this ribbon left. I'm just stacking one bow on top of the other, just like that, making each one slightly smaller so that the other ribbon shows. And just for fun, I'll throw in some cording, some beautiful gold cording that you might have laying around. Just a couple of loops, whatever you like. And crisscross the wire between the dowels over all of the ribbon. Remove the bow, turn it upside down, pull it tight, and fluff. These are some of the most fun bows to do, and I think you'll really enjoy making these. Just trim your cording. You may want to knot the cording so it won't unravel. There you have something just absolutely elegant.
You will enjoy making all of these beautiful bows and decorating your home for the holidays. Watch for upcoming videos with Leah and even more ideas you can use throughout the year. Now, enjoy your easy bow maker.